Next, we need to answer some critical business questions for this offsite. Once again, management has lots of questions, and some of them seem random, but they always have a good reason for asking them. To answer these questions, we're going to use something called a function. So, how is a function different from a formula? Well, with a function, you pass in a parameter or an argument, and then you get some result back. Now, I know on its own that probably doesn't mean that much, so why don't we just answer these questions and figure out how they work? Let's now move on to the Common Functions worksheet. Management at the Kevin Cookie Company would like our help at answering some of these business questions. And the first question is, how many cookies sold? So I need to add up this list of cookies sold. Now, once again, I could highlight this list, and here on the status bar, I see that we sold 421 cookies. That's one way I could get the total. Now, alternatively, we could also use formulas that we just learned about. I could enter the equal sign, and here I could select this cell. Then I could hit plus, and I could go through and I could add this entire list of all of these different cells, and that also gives us 421. But that's a bit of work, and it takes a bit of time. Instead, we can use something called a function. To insert a function up on the top tabs, let's click on the tab titled Formulas, and all the way over on the left-hand side, let's click on the option that says Insert Function. When I hover over, you'll also see that the shortcut key is Shift F3. Let's click on this. This now opens up the Insert Function dialog, and I want to sum up all of the values in this list. So here, let's search for the function sum, and then click on Go. And here I see there's a function called sum. Let's click on OK. This now opens up the function arguments. Right down here, you can see a description of what this function does. So the sum function adds up all the numbers in a range of cells. And right here, I can pass in different arguments. Here, it wants me to enter number 1. And right down here, I can see a description of what that argument or what that parameter is. So this is one of the numbers that I want to sum up. Here for number 1, I'll select this cell. For number 2, I could select this cell. For number 3, I could select this cell. But this isn't much quicker than just adding up each individual cell. So let's not do that. Let's delete all these different values. Instead of clicking through cell by cell, I can simply highlight this range of cells. Now I'm passing in a range. And how do you know it's a range? Well, here it says B6 and a colon B12. So it's saying that I want cells B6 through B12 to be summed up. Here you can see all of those different numbers being fed in to this function. And here I can see the result of the function is 421. This looks good, so let's click on the OK button. And here that inserts 421 on my spreadsheet. That's exactly how many cookies we sold. Sum is just one of over 500 functions available in Microsoft Excel. If we go up to the Formulas tab up on top, you'll see the function library. Excel has a whole host of financial functions. Here you'll find different logical functions, there are text functions. There are many, many different options. Here, if I click into the next cell, if you're ever curious about, well, what does a function do? Here, let's say I want to insert a text function, and here I'll select this one. When I select that, that opens up the function arguments, and here once again, I see a description of what it does, and also what arguments I need to feed in. I'll hit escape. Now, we have some more business questions that we need to answer. Here, for instance, I need to know, well, which cookies sold the most? Here on the Formulas tab, over on the left-hand side, you'll see there's a category of functions called AutoSum. And when I click on this dropdown, here you'll see some of the most common functions in Excel. And one of them is max. Well, I want to know the most number of cookies sold. So which one had the max sold? I can use this function. I'll click on max. And here it assumes it's the numbers above, but I actually want this selection. So here I'll simply click here and I'll feed in all of these values into this function. So here, once again, you see the range of cells B6 through B12. Then I'll hit enter. And here we see that the max number of cookies sold was 97 for the chocolate chip cookie. To calculate the least number of cookies sold, here once again, I could go up to AutoSum, and here's the option for min. I'll select this, then I'll select this range of cells, and then I'll hit enter, and here I can see that it's 36, and that's for the fortune cookie. It also wants to know the number of cookies with sales. So here once again, let's go up to AutoSum, and here's the option for count numbers. I'll select that, highlight this range of cells, and then hit enter. And here I can see that we had 7 cookies with some sales. And lastly, I also need to enter in the average number of cookies sold. So here, once again, you guessed it, we'll go up to auto sum, and here's the option for average. Once again, I'll select all of these different cookies, hit enter, and the average number of cookies sold is 60.14. One neat trick that I absolutely want to share. When we go up to auto sum and you hover over, you'll see that there's a shortcut key for summing. It's Alt together with the equals sign. So here, let's go to the bottom of the list for cookies sold, and we can enter Alt equals. And here that automatically enters in the sum function, and it highlights all of the numbers above. Now I can simply press on enter, and the sum is 421. Alternatively, I could also highlight all of these cells, press Alt equals, and that just adds the sum at the bottom. So that's a shortcut key that you can use to very quickly sum up different values. As we've been entering in these various functions, we've been using the insert function helper and also shortcut keys, but you can also just type in a function. Here, I'll remove the sum. And over here, you can see all of the functions that we've used so far. So we could simply enter in this same function in this same format. So here, if I want to sum up, I'll enter the equals sign, and then I'll type in sum. And as I type in sum, you see this nice little helper on the side that shows you all of the different functions that use that name. Here, I'll insert a parentheses. And here you see this helpful tip that tells me what I need to feed into this function. So here it wants me to feed in numbers. Here I could select all of these, and I could close the parentheses, or I could simply hit enter, and that'll enter in the function. So here, once again, we've entered in the sum function. So there are many different ways that you could enter in a function. You could click on insert function, you could type it in that way, or you could simply type it directly into a cell.